This is Continuum Drag, a podcast where we watch sci-fi, fantasy, and everything in between. This week, Swamp Thing, episodes 3 and 4.
Come on, Xanadu, break out those cards. Give me one more reading.
Fine. One last time. 8 years since you come to Marie, and in all that time, your cards never change.
Welcome to Continuum Drag, the podcast consulting the cards. I'm Luke, here with my co-host Jordan. What's real, Jordan?
You know, the funny thing about that plot line in this show is I don't care about it at all, do you?
That is funny.
Yeah, that is funny. It's one of the many plot lines, and I'll say this show, they love having like 5 or 6 plot lines going all at once, and I don't hate this show, but I'm really only interested in about 2 of them, you know?
Well, we'll get into it. I've had to break up the notes for these episodes because, many of the plot lines don't intersect. So, we're back to kind of – we haven't done it in a while, but we're back to, having a main plot line we'll cover, and then we'll do, 5 different plot line quick summaries at the end of it because there's just so many little ones happening. Mm-hmm. You know, it just is a thing that sometimes we have so many plot lines that they don't coalesce. It does make the show more difficult to watch if the main plot doesn't coalesce with 5 or 6 other scenes. But
yeah, they're like, hey, don't worry, this thing's gonna come all together 9 episodes from now.
Exactly. But Jordan, before we get started, I got a game for you.
Nice.
I know you love a game.
Yeah, depends on the game, I suppose.
Well, I'm calling it. We've done similar versions of this where we look at the actors and the other projects they've done. But in this particular case, I'm calling it Where Are They Now? In that, I'm looking at shows that happened after Swamp Thing. So you can match the actor to a show that they did, a show or a movie or something they did after Swamp Thing, basically. Actor-wise, you've got Crystal Reed, who plays Abby Arcane. Mm-hmm. Virginia Madsen, Maria Sutherland.
Yeah.
Andy Bean, who is Alec Holland.
That's right, yeah.
Derek Meeks, who plays Swamp Thing. Mm-hmm. Maria Steen, I believe. Liz Tremaine, she's the reporter. Mm-hmm. And finally, Will Patton, who plays Avery Sutherland. So those are going to be your choices from.
Okay.
So just keep those in your mind, back of your head. Those are most of the main characters. The reporter's maybe the biggest outlier, but just have her in the back of your head.
Okay.
And then, do you want me to read all of the movies, or do you want them one at a time?
Yeah, give me all the movies.
Sure. From 2023, Teen Wolf the movie. From 2024, the miniseries Holidays, days spelled D-A-Z-E-D.
Love it.
Holidazed. It's Holidazed. Sorry.
Yeah.
From 2019, a month after Swamp Thing is canceled and off the air. So it is technically in the future, but only a month after the show ends. It Chapter 2. 2024's Salem's Lot on HBO. The 2022 series for 20 episodes, this person is in Reacher. And of course, from 2024, chapters 1 and 2 of Kevin Costner's Horizon: An American Saga.
Wow. This is really challenging.
So you want me to go back to the first one? I'll go Teen Wolf the movie.
Okay, Teen Wolf the movie. I'll tell you, my first inclination is it Derek Mears? Derek Meek?
Derek Meeks.
Meeks, because I know that he does a lot of costume-related kind of acting. But for some reason, I don't think it's him. I'm gonna go different than my first thought, and I'm gonna go with. I'm actually gonna go with Crystal Reed, who plays Abby Arcane.
Okay, and there's Holidazed.
I'm gonna guess that's Andy Bean, the guy who plays Alec Holland in this show.
All right, and then there's It Chapter 2.
Okay. So, It Chapter 2, I'm going to guess it's Will Patton.
Have you seen that film?
I just got a feeling. It's Will Patton. And I haven't seen any of these, so.
All right. There's HBO's 2024 Salem's Lot.
Okay, so Steven, this one, I think I'm going to put this old Derek Meeks in there. He's got to be wearing something, some sort of scary costume.
And then there's, this is where things are a little tricky for you with Derek Meeks out of the running, I think.
Yeah.
Reacher.
Oh, right. Yeah, because he might have been in that. Well, you know what? Who do I got left? I've got Virginia Madsen and who?
Virginia Madsen and Maria Sten, the reporter.
Oof. You know what? I'm going to say Maria Sten just because I got to save Virginia Madsen.
And then finally, Horizon: An American Saga, Chapters 1 and Chapter 2.
It's got to be Virginia. It's got to be.
All right.
I'm hoping for a clean sweep here because I never do well in these.
You got 3 of them correct, Jordan. 3 of them correct.
Hey, that's not so bad.
Crystal Reed is in Teen Wolf the movie, which is actually a continuation of the 5-year running series of Teen Wolf from 2011 to 2016. They came back in 2023 and made a movie, a continuation. I didn't know any of that information.
It's like what was that show that they had the portal that went into the different worlds?
Stranger Things.
No.
Stargate.
Anyways, Stargate. They made a bunch of TV movies after that show was canceled.
You got Derek Meeks is correct. He was in Salem's Lot.
Nice.
And Maria Steen is in Reacher for 20 episodes. He's one of the recurring characters.
So I was wrong about Will Patton, huh?
Will Patton was in Horizon: An American Saga, Kevin Costner's Western bankruptcy movie.
I should have got that.
Virginia Madison was in Holidays, the Hallmark Christmas miniseries.
Yeah.
And Andy Bean is in It Chapter 2.
Oh.
He's one of the kids growing up.
Oh, how about that? I didn't, I don't think I'd seen any of them, or at least that's what I said to begin with. But I think I might have seen It, and I don't remember him, though.
I believe, because there's basically in that film because all the kids are growing up, and all the kids are famous actors except for one, is one like you didn't recognize, and that would be Andy Bean.
That fair enough.
Like not a slight to him, but like, it was Jessica Chastain. It was what's his name from SNL. Like there are people whose faces you recognize. There's just one guy who I couldn't quite place it when I watched the film, and that's who he was.
There he is. So, well, it's nice to know that all these people we've come to know and love have continued success.
I mean, those are all good shows to be on, like pretty big.
Yeah, probably more successful than Swamp Thing.
All the actors have had much better careers after Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Not better, just different. They've continued to act. I don't know. What are we doing here? Let's move on. What are we doing? This
show didn't kill their careers, is what you're saying.
Yes. Nobody's careers were killed by Swamp Thing. All right, let's move on. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right, here's the IMDb summary for episode 3. He speaks. Alec is haunted by what he has done as the Swamp Thing. As the mysterious disease continues spreading through the town of Marseilles, a new menace crawls from the swamp.
Yeah, so this is a bit of a weird episode because it's kind of... This is, of all the episodes we've seen, I don't know if this is only the 3rd episode, this is the most, like, we were saying of having all the plot lines, this is the most, like, place-setting episode. Like, everything's, like, 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there. And I was like, is this going to be, like, a Monster of the Week episode? And it's like, there's a little bit of that, but there's also, like, 50 other plot lines that you'll get resolved later on in the season.
Well, I think you're not wrong. I think this is a Monster of the Week episode because the main plot, which we'll cover first, really just is like one clean plot, beginning, middle, end, it's over. And then like the other characters around the show, they have the kind of like continuity subplots that as a result don't go very far because they don't get much screen time, but like they're kind of little tiny place settings. So I think you're right. But what's important, Jordan, is last podcast you asked the question, how does the actor who plays Alec Holland, now we know his name is Andy Bean, how is he going to appear? Is it going to be all flashbacks? Is it going to be video recordings? Yeah. We now know it's going to be dreams.
Yeah, that's how they're going to do it. And it's like, it's okay. Like, you think it's not the worst, right? It's like, it's not the cleanest thing ever, but it's like, okay, they want to still have this actor give us some dialogue that Swamp Thing maybe can't do. I don't know if it's done in the most graceful fashion, but like, it's a choice.
Well, Swamp Thing's having a dream of himself as Alec Holland. And what's that dream about, Jordan?
I'm trying to remember. He's walking on the swamp and he comes across a guy, right?
Yes. And it's the guy he killed and he feels guilty about. But before he encounters him, the initial dream his concern is he is barefoot and he can't find his sandals.
That's right. Yeah.
He's having a dream about how he can't find his sandals. This character loves sandals so much. Yeah. I can't get over it.
I was kind of hoping at one point, like, Swamp Thing would find those cargo shorts and just put those on, just for old time's sake, you know?
Man, Swamp Thing in those sandals would be crazy.
Yeah. And like, this gotta be Alec. He's so laid back.
That would be amazing if that was the transition. Like, Swamp Thing's this monster trying to deal with the fact that he used to be human. And if the slow transition of him, like, coming to terms with it is he just starts dressing in cargo shorts and sandals again. Like, he kind of just becomes Alec again.
I got a separate question for you for Swamp Thing. So we're going to see throughout this episode, we've seen already, the many powers he has. He's controlling nature, and it's a lot of vines and stuff. What do you think? You think when he's going to sleep at night, do you think he's making himself like a vine hammock?
I think he sleeps standing.
You think he sleeps standing? Do you
I
think he
don't
needs
know
the
why.
vines to help him stand up?
I think it might just because I can't imagine the costume laying down, so I can only imagine him standing. So that's a lack of imagination on my part.
I think he's probably in the water.
A water.
I think he goes in the water.
I do like the idea of a hammock, though. A vine hammock is pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, they're never going to show it, but, I had that thought while watching.
Anyway, he has this dream. The core of it is not Sandals, but that he feels guilty for killing that guy who he tore limb from limb last episode.
Yeah.
And then we see Swamp Thing dreaming, and it pans over, and we see the guy's severed head. And then a bunch of bugs crawl into it and start pulling all the limbs back together. And what we're seeing is that swamp bugs are now creating a living corpse full of swarms of bugs. He's got a sentient bug corpse that's going to walk around.
Yeah, and you know what? I like this.
It looks cool.
This is the part of the show. Yeah, it looks good. I've said it before. The CGI is good in this show for the most part. There's a couple of little wonky things, but like 90% of it's really good. And this is kind of all I really want from the show is like, oh, there's something creepy and Swamp Thing has to like destroy it in some way, and there's a underlying environmental message. I'm all for it. And then it gets so bogged down in other stuff I don't care about.
But that's the setup. We now know there's going to be bug monster corpse to fight.
Yeah.
And we pop away. Abby, meanwhile, she's hanging out with her reporter friend. She's kind of lamenting how tough the last few days have been with her. And then she gets such an annoying text, Jordan. It comes in. She's like, oh, my God. I got to go to work.
I wrote the exact same thing. It's like, she's like, I gotta go to the hospital. I'm like, where you should be. You've literally been flown in to deal with this epidemic of this illness or whatever's happening in the area. And she's like, ugh, I just want to sit here and can finish having my coffee on the dock. I'm like, no, you're supposed to be at work. What are you doing?
What I love is the text is also that the CDC is sending a new team to take over. And I'm just like, yeah, you haven't done anything. They should be sending a new team to take over.
I do like, though, that what her job is seems quite vague, more vague than it should be. And I feel like the writers maybe didn't want to do that much research as to what she can do and can't do, because like we'll point it out throughout this episode. I'm like, what is her level of responsibility and what is her authority here? Because they bring this other person in, but I'm like, it's not clear what she is supposed to be doing.
I mean, this episode really calls attention to how much work she's been doing, for sure. So we'll talk about it some more. What I did like, she goes back to the hospital finally. Tuvok appears for a scene again. I'm like, Tuvok!
You didn't think he was going to come back, and look at that. He's like a recurring character.
He gets one 12-second scene every 2 episodes.
Every episode, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, she goes back to the hospital, and while she's there, she bumps into that Professor Dr. Woodrow who created the original mutagen, but no one knows it yet. Mm-hmm. The thing that Sutherland has been dumping. And what's Dr. Woodrow doing? He's finally doing the autopsy on that dead plant dad that she never got around to. He's been like there for ages. She's just never gotten around to this autopsy. Yeah. He's doing her job, apparently.
Yeah, and they have like a long conversation about like emotion versus science, and I was like,
so clumsy. Like, let's differentiate these characters. She's like, well, I believe humans are humans and they have emotions, and he's like, well, I believe in clinical cold research to find results, and I'm like, cool. So that's your dichotomy, huh?
Yeah.
There's no better way to clunk this in here than just saying it out loud.
I know. Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Abby and doing her job, you may have forgotten, Jordan, but she had a partner she came with from the CDC to do this job. He's been doing it while she's been doing whatever she's been doing. He's been doing it so much, in fact, that he's caught the disease because he's been working with people with it.
Yeah, and we get to see him like it's one of those scenes where the person is acting in a way that they would never do, where like he's like not moving at all when she comes to talk to him, and then he turns around and he's like, I guess I got the illness, and then like green stuff pours out of his face, which looks cool, but I'm like, why was he hiding that?
Well, I also like that like she comes in and she's just talking at him, he's not responding or even looking at her. She doesn't notice.
Yeah. Yeah.
She would talk to a chair if it was there. It doesn't matter to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it also was just that point. I was like, yeah, he's been doing the work, man. Of course he caught it. You haven't been at the hospital. Anyway.
She's beat over in Alex like lab, just like reading his diary and stuff.
But as we said, it's not just the outbreak they need to worry about anymore. There's this corpse full of swarming bugs out there. It's killing hunters who are out in the swamp. And pretty, in very like a mummy-esque scene where like bugs fly out of the mummy's mouth into like another person's mouth. That happens here with a man and a hunter. But Abby goes to the old swamp lab. You remember old swamp lab, right? Where Alec used to work. Of course. She goes there to start looking for clues into his research, which is all she's done for like 3 episodes, is look for clues about his research. And the bug corpse attacks her there, which is honestly a good part of the show because it allows Swamp Thing to, like, he leaps through the floorboards of Swamp Lab and they get in a punch fight, which is great. Like, watching two monsters fight, they do a pretty good job of a monster fight. I'm like, this is probably the best part of the show is the monster fight.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, this part of the show's fun, and maybe you can't sustain a whole show just on this, but it's the parts that I enjoy, and I'm like again, Swamp Thing looks good. The CGI looks good. The gross bug man looks good. And then it's like, then you have to have these other scenes where it's just like Abby walking around like looking at stuff. And I'm like, oh, I don't care.
My favorite part about this monster fight is, they fight. It's a punch fight. They're throwing each other around. Swamp Thing finally gets the upper hand and like smashes the bug man to the ground. And Swamp Thing just leans over and just like, hey, bugs, go away, please. And the bugs are like, okay, sorry about that. And they like, he politely asks the bugs to push on, and they do.
Yeah. Well, it's like it has an end that's a much more peaceful end to a fight than one expects. It's not like what we've seen before. He doesn't rip the guy apart or whatever. He controls it in some way to send them all away and end it that way and sort of end this person's suffering. As
it does fit. It does fit for his powers and stuff. Like his powers are like environment and like that kind of thing. So like it does work. It was just I just found it very cute. Like it was a big punch fight that ends with him just politely asking the bugs to go home, and they're like, oh, and they just kind of like acquiesce.
Like you did ask us nicely.
It's just Swamp Thing's a good guy.
Yeah, just looking for some sandals.
Post the fight, Swamp Thing and Abby have a little heart-to-heart. They confirm for Abby that it is, in fact, Alec is Swamp Thing. So that kind of wraps that kind of thing up. We've now confirmed.
But, weren't you glad, though, that they did that this quick in the season? Like, I'm glad they didn't drag it on to, like, because, like, the viewers know, and it's like, we can just get her to the way. It's better that she knows as opposed to, like, episode 8. She's like, wait a minute, are you Alec? Like, I'm glad they didn't go in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, she basically knew last episode. This is their first time to, like, talk, and they're just like, yeah, I'm Alec, and they're great. Yeah. I'm like, we can move forward. Fantastic. Swamp Thing also in this moment gives Abby a cryptic hint that allows her to finally cure the outbreak that's been threatening the town.
Yeah.
It's a very cryptic hint, but basically she goes back. Her partner's dying of swamp outbreak, whatever it is. And Swamp Thing, when we were talking, mentions just like, here's the thing, Abby, you can't fight the swamp. And she's just like, of course, the outbreak is from the swamp. And it's changing too fast. You can't fight it. We have to take all the antibiotics out of everyone's systems so that we don't try to fight the disease and just let the disease run its course and everyone will just be okay. And that's what happened.
Well, yeah, it's funny. She runs into the hospital where she should be working, and the patients are doing badly. And I'll mention this one. Everyone's wearing masks. Everyone was wearing protective gear. There's plastic and stuff up, like the zip plastic. Not her. Her hair is down. She's not wearing a mask. She's just been in the swamp. She hasn't washed her hands. She runs in and she's like, tells the doctor like, hey, 2 cc's of whatever, and they're like, that's not right. And then the doctor's like, you can't do that. Then they all just stand in the same little scene we've only ever seen in the hospital as they watch her come in and like put it into the IV. And of course, guess what? They're like, the BP is dropping. It works because she's house. It all solves the day. But I just like that everyone's like, you can't do that, but we're gonna stand here and watch you do it.
I also like, and I'm sure this is a real thing, Jordan. I'm sure this is a real thing. But she comes in and she's like, we got to get them off the antibiotics. So the antibiotics are fighting the disease, and if we let the thing run its course, it'll be just fine. Basically, this is not what she says. She hasn't ever word for it, but basically she's like, give me the antibiotics. We need to get them out of their system immediately. And I was just like, there are antibiotics? That's incredible.
I didn't hear that line.
It was just because like she didn't say that. There's another term for it, but like to flush the antibiotics out of their system like immediately, because she just pushes it in like like it's instant. But I was just like very funny. Anyway, disease cured.
Yeah.
So Abby goes out to celebrate. There's that cop she's having a love triangle with, her old high school friend who like has a crush on her. Mm-hmm. They go out to Swamp Bar, the bar in the middle of the swamp. They're drinking. They're starting to dance. They're having a nice time. Then we look out the window, and Swamp Thing is jealously watching through the window.
I love it. It's because the shot is almost if like he's regretting he can't dance. That's like, he's just like, but I'm a Swamp Thing. I can't dance. You're like, oh, poor Swamp Thing.
Poor Swamp Thing. He wants to go to Swamp Bar and dance.
Who doesn't,
And that is like the core plot line of this episode. There are like I think 4 subplots that I'm going to go into now that like that break up this plot line, but we just like sped run everything that happens core to this like episode. So Jordan, are you ready to rewind for subplots?
Let's do it.
Subplot 1, Dr. Woodrow, the guy who created the mutagen.
Yeah.
He showed up a few episodes ago with his partner, who may be also his wife, and they reveal now she has an illness that's degrading her memory, which I guess is supposed to explain why he's been doing all of the stuff with Sutherland. He's trying to get a cure for her, so that's why he's created this all. But what he discovers this episode in his own separate scenes is that his accelerant of the mutagen isn't entirely to blame for what's happening. Apparently, the swamp already has special mutagenic properties, and so now that they've combined them together, everything's growing bananas fast. So we needed a whole series of plot lines, like a series of scenes to explain that.
It was weird because it seemed like I was like, well, doesn't that like negate the whole point of them putting the stuff in the swamp? Couldn't it have just been that they found out the swamp has magical properties? Like, why do we even need that extra element?
Well, it would explain a lot more why they even started, right? Like Sutherland realized he got rich because he discovered a thing in the swamp, and it's like, oh, the swamp is full of actually like miraculous things we can find, right? But they've added this sort of second element, which I guess is like to explain why it's suddenly getting crazy, like it's getting too crazy now. But it is complicated. It's complicated. All right, subplot 2, Jordan. That hot actor who runs the video store is back.
I just refer to him as 90210 in all my notes.
Okay, great. 90210. He never wanted to move to this town, but he had to. He had to come. I think next episode they say he made a pact or something that forced him to be in this town. He's been here for 8 years, and he hangs out with the blind psychic. Did you catch her name?
Yeah, it's like
Mrs. X. Mrs. X.
Mrs. X, yeah, because I think her full name is Xanadu. That's why.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
She hangs out with Mrs. X because for the last 8 years, he's been waiting for he needs to serve some unknown purpose in order for him to escape his pact with this town. And for the last 8 years, she's been drawing his tarot cards and always getting the same 3 tarot cards. But today, when they draw his cards, it's the same 3 cards, but they're in reverse, which she explains means that his fate is somehow tied to Abby coming back to town.
Yeah.
And that's like, we're like, what a cliffhanger. Can't wait to find out more about this man.
Yeah, it's probably my least favorite of all the subplots is this one.
It is the least connected to anything, so it's like so bizarre. Like I'm like, you have no connection to anyone in the town.
Yeah, it's like you just gotta wait. She's the one you've been waiting for. We're like, oh, okay, great.
All right, subplot 3. Avery Sutherland is actually not rich. He's in a lot of financial trouble.
That's right. He's been borrowing his money from his wife the whole time.
He's been getting off-the-book loans from a local banker who has not been telling the bank he's been loaning the money to Sutherland. It's like all like very illegal loans he's been getting. But the reporter is onto it. So she confronts the banker about it. And then the banker confronts Avery and says, I can't get in trouble because you have 24 hours to pay up. So Avery goes to talk to his wife, Virginia Madison, who is extremely rich with family money. But Avery doesn't have access to that family money somehow. And she won't bail him out this time. So she's rich and he's poor, but they live in the same house.
Yeah.
So Avery ends up going to see the banker. And then when the banker mentions that something about like, well, the conclave, quote unquote, is not going to like this, Avery murders him.
Yeah.
So do you think he's referring to like they're going to have to pick a new pope? Like the conclave's going to hear about Avery owing money and picking the new pope?
My feeling is they're going to be doing some sort of like
there's an additional conspiracy.
There's an additional conspiracy, and there's like this like group that's been running things behind the scenes and like a shadow government of like, you know, they'll be wearing cloaks and stuff like that. That's what I think we're gonna see.
I mean, that's probably what it is. But yes, Avery kills this banker, so Avery is also a murderer.
Hey, let me ask you this. So Avery kills the guy. Are we supposed to, as a viewer, think he's done something like this before in terms of he's this someone who will do whatever he needs to get to the end? Or is it that this is the first time he's been pushed so far this time that he's actually done the worst thing possible and murdered someone?
No, I think we're supposed to think it's not the first time because he drags the body up to the bathtub and the guy wakes up. He's like, why am I in my bathtub? He's like, easier to clean, implying that he's had to dismember a body before.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, subplot 4. This is actually a subplot within the Sutherland family plot. An additional subplot is that at some point, the police chief played by Jennifer Beals drops by to help him cover up the fact that like the dumping's been going on. And he's revealed that Jennifer Beal and Avery Sutherland have in the past had affairs behind behind Virginia Madison's back. So like there's an additional thing of like they were a couple, they've been hooking up, that he's been cheating on her. Not anymore, but it has happened in the past. Although they nearly do it again, but she calls it off. We see this, and then later we see Virginia Madsen's in the bathroom, and her ghost daughter manifests in the bathroom and says, "Hey, Daddy's a cheater." And we're like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and the ghost shows up a few times in this. It's like, this is going to be the whole thing. The ghost just comes and like badmouths her dad.
Yeah, it does feel like the idea this is not really the daughter, but like this is something sowing discontent to like drive them apart.
Yeah.
Because there's evil in the swamp, whatever. But like this is also peppered throughout this whole episode. So there's a lot of these little scenes throughout the other episode. Anyway, those are the subplots. I think we can move forward to episode 4 for more subplots. What do you think?
I'll tell you, that's actually a more succinct way of doing it, and it makes more sense than when you're watching the show, because you get whiplash in that specifically in that episode because there's so many subplots. So it's like nothing has a chance to breathe, and even if there's, like we're saying, the kind of fight between Swamp Thing and this monster, and you're like, this is gonna be a thing. It gets so like neutered because you have to keep stopping and be like, all right, now we're gonna watch this guy do tarot cards. Okay.
Yeah, and because none of them relate to that core Monster of the Week episode, they're all really standalone and unrelated in a lot of ways. So it makes it hard. It makes it hard. Yeah. Anyway, IMDb summary, episode 4, Darkness on the Edge of Town.
There's a darkness here.
A darkness?
Yes.
Is it connected to this body?
Abby's return to the town drags up her dark past with the Sutherlands. While the Swamp Thing senses a growing darkness within the swamp, we learn more about Daniel Cassidy.
I have a question for you. So, Darkness on the Edge of Town, famously a Bruce Springsteen album. Why did they name it this? What does it have to do with
Great
anything?
question. I guess it's because of that corpse they find, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It barely relates.
It's just like, someone's like, hey, that's a cool title. Let's just call it that.
I mean, you need a good title. Nothing better than a Bruce Springsteen song.
Yeah.
Now that the outbreak has been cured, there's now this kind of lingering thing of like, what could Abby possibly do on the show? Because like her thing is curing diseases. So they need to introduce a new plot line that relates to kind of like her expertise. And that's kind of what this episode is about. Mm-hmm. It's another standalone episode, but we start with a couple of guys who go out into the swamp to cut down some trees, presumably illegally, who knows.
Yeah. They're like illegal loggers, yeah.
As they're doing it, they knock loose an old corpse that was somehow up in a tree. I guess the tree grew up and like took it with it. So this old corpse falls out. It's quite old, like, you know, basically mummified. One of the guys looks at it and gets scratched when he's like looking at it. Like he gets scratched by the corpse's like fingernails when he's looking at the key in the corpse's hand, like an old hotel room key, basically.
And let me just say real quick, I actually thought this thing is the way they did this actually was pretty good, because the guys are logging and then like stuff starts falling out, and first you see what you're like, what is this? And it's like teeth and stuff, and then it's like the army tags and stuff. And I actually thought for a moment, I was like, oh, this could be an episode where like it's literally the swamp has been slowly eating people, and like body parts are gonna fall out and stuff. It's gonna be this really
cool.
gruesome thing. But then they went away from it right away, and I was like, oh, it's okay what they did, but that was cooler.
You're like, I want to see this swamp eating episode, swamp teeth.
Yeah, yeah, but it's not that.
I mean, it would be better to watch Swamp Thing punch a giant tree with teeth.
Yeah. Exactly. And just body parts falling out of trees.
Anyway, what it is this man gets scratched by the corpse while they're looking at it, and then he goes to his day job where he works at Swamp Bar as a dishwasher.
Yeah, that's right.
And he starts hallucinating. He's like, oh, I'm seeing a snake in the dishwater. What do I do? It's on my arm. Why don't I shove my arm into this garbage disposal, dying a terrible, terrible death in the middle of a swamp bar.
First, the horrible scene is he pulls out a knife and he keeps trying to stab himself the snake, but he just keeps repeatedly stabbing himself in the arms. And then when he still doesn't work, he jams his arms into the compactor and chops his arms off. It's horrible. It's like a horribly gruesome scene.
And we are seeing it from his perspective with the snake, and then from the bystander's perspective where there's nothing, and he's just like mutilating himself. So it is, you know, what the show does well, some horror sequences. Mm-hmm. But in the process of doing all this, he scratches the owner of Swamp Bar, and he transfers the curse of the corpse from himself to the Swamp Bar owner before he dies.
Yeah.
And Jordan, whose father is Swamp Bar owner?
It's the reporter, right?
That's right. The reporter's dad is Swamp Bar owner. So she's there with the police chief because like this has happened. She calls her friend Abby to come check it out because she's just like, listen, Abby, you got to get down here. The dishwasher was in the swamp last night.
Yeah.
And then he killed himself horribly. Clearly, this has something to do with your expertise. I'm just like, that's a real leap. That's a real leap of logic, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like her character's like, we need to bring Abby in this somehow. You're good at science. Come on over.
But as they're showing Abby and the police chief what happened, Swamp Bar owner starts hallucinating. He's imagining creepy masked home invaders invading the bar. So he grabs a gun and starts shooting up the place. He's like, they're ducking, they're weaving, they're trying to avoid the gunshots. Police chief Jennifer Beals is able to disarm him, but in the process, she gets scratched. And of course, the curse now transfers from Swamp Bar owner to Jennifer Beal. He's better, but when will she become crazy?
Well, I have a couple things to mention in this scene. So in the scene, you're right. The bar owners, he's shooting with like a shotgun, and they're all trying to duck and stuff. And the whole time, Abby and her friend, I can't remember her name, the reporter, Liz.
Liz Tremaine.
Yeah, Liz. They keep being like, stop it, you're like hallucinating. And it clearly doesn't work the first 20 times they do it, but they keep doing it over and over. Like, stop, what you're seeing is not real. And not only do they not stop doing it in this scene, later on with other characters who are also like having this massive hallucination where you can't reach them, their decision, what they decide to do to stop it is just to keep saying to the person, it's not happening, which I just love that they can't come up with anything else. But the second thing I want to say is, to the point of Abby's job, how they actually stop this fight just after he scratches the police officer is she pulls out like a syringe and jams it into him and knocks him out. And I thought, why does she have that on her? And it's like loaded, ready to go. But she works for the CDC. Why would she have that?
I will explain that, because the paramedics are there taking the body away. I think that is their medical bag. I think that's their medical bag that she's taken it out of. Because you're right, she would never be carrying that.
Yeah, because it was really bizarre.
It's a lot of shoe leather to get there.
Yeah.
Anyway, seeing all this happen, Abby now suspects a new kind of transmittable hallucination disease has come out of the swamp. She goes there. She finds the corpse that originally gave it. Swamp Thing shows up, and he's just like, hey, I came by, I checked the corpse already. I shot my little vine fingers into the corpse and dug around inside of it. Gotta let you know, the darkness has been released. It's not in the corpse anymore. You gotta go stop it. And Abby's like, well, I guess I better go find the police chief who got scratched and like stop her. Like, this is basically what we get out of this.
Yeah.
Just a little explanation. Curse inside the corpse. Swamp Thing is able to root around inside of it using his powers and confirm it's gone, etc.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, while this is happening, the reporter's been doing some digging also into what's been going on. She's discovered the backstory. In the 1930s, there was an outbreak of fear-related deaths at a rooming house where people were killing themselves while hallucinating. But they'd suddenly stopped when the last infected person basically escaped into the swamp and died out there. And like the idea being like he sacrificed himself to prevent the curse from going to anyone else by dying in the swamp. And he's been holding the curse in the body ever since, basically.
I love how fast she got that information. She's like, I did the research.
I found some old microfiche, got it all.
Yeah, it had to be on microfiche, yeah.
Anyway, Abby rushes down to the town's big crawdad boil that Avery is throwing to celebrate the end of the outbreak. There's a big crawdad boil going on.
Yeah, which, by the way, he announces him and his wife come to the hospital that is still has all the like plastic up and everyone's still in their protective garb. And he just walks in. He's like, hey, guys, I'm the rich town guy. We're going to have a big party. Everyone's here in this one room we always see in the hospital. You're all invited. And the nurses are like, hey, yippee. And then they all go.
Yeah, they all go to crawdad. It's so funny. I know the announcement is like, I'm going to throw a crawdad boil. I'm like, okie dokie. Abby rushes there. The police chief is losing her mind. I think like she's imagining her son getting stabbed. It's like the most nothing like hallucination. Abby's like, don't stop, don't do it. Abby gets scratched now, so now she has the curse.
Yeah, of course.
And she races back to the swamp with it to find Swamp Thing. She gets back there. She starts hallucinating. What I assume we're going to find out is her abusive father, I guess. Like it's like kind of a scary man in the woods who has a lot of father mapping on top of him. Swamp Thing shows up. He's able to suck the curse out of her. I wish they'd kissed to suck the curse out, but it didn't work quite good. He just hugs her.
Well, I have a question, because in her hallucination, what you see is this, you're right, this father/monster figure sort of dragging her against her will across the ground. And then what you do is you see that's her hallucination, and what you see in real life is Swamp Thing is holding her, trying to bring
give her a big
out of
hug.
it. But I'm like, was he actually dragging her? Or he's just holding her. She's just thinking she's getting dragged. Because everything else we've seen, the person is
physically
actually
happening. Yeah.
is physically doing what they're doing. So I was like, I think Swamp Thing's dragging her across the swamp
Swamp
floor.
Thing's dragging her around a bunch. You're right. That is the one time they broke the rules of what happens in these hallucinations.
Yeah.
Anyway, he pulls the curse out of her, and then Swamp Thing goes and puts his little vines into the corpse, the original corpse, puts the curse back, and he's like, well, we've saved the day. I can't remember. What does he do with the corpse afterward? He just drags it into the swamp? Or did he just leave it there?
I think, it's slow. You see it slowly start breaking down and kind of go back into the ground.
Problem solved. The curse is now hidden back in the swamp where it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's the plot line. Another standalone episode. Find a spooky thing in the swamp. It's a curse. It's not a bad idea. Curse that makes you go, like, that passes one by one. Like, that's okay. I don't love the hallucination thing. Was, if you're gonna, the self-mutilation's got to get crazy.
I agree. I think that there's an idea here that works pretty well. This like it's not the most original thing, but like there's a disease that passes from person to person, and maybe each time it gets worse. And like you're right, like the horror we're seeing from it is getting grosser and grosser and more horrific. You're like, there's something there, but like it's almost like they're like, yeah, we know this is cool, but we don't want to spend too much time on it because we got to go back to the plot lines.
It's that, yeah. It's kind of the issue. They don't have time to like do it because, like, here's the thing: the snake one is okay, but like how he attacks himself is interesting. The gunman or the masked guys invading the bar, it's less gruesome, but like at least has a flavor of The Strangers or something, like a home invasion flavor to it. So it has some like creepiness. The police chief imagining her son getting stabbed is like really unevocative. Like there's not much there. Mm-hmm. And then Abby, sure, like it's more of a tease to something we'll learn later, but it wasn't that like exciting. So it's kind of like the hallucination sequences got less interesting the more that happened, unfortunately. But theoretically, reasonable plot for a horror TV show where you have standalone episodes, like reasonable. But Jordan, guess what time it is? Subplot time.
It's time to go through them.
1. Okay. Remember how the summary said we were going to learn more about Daniel Madison?
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah. Which one is Daniel Madison?
He's the hot actor.
Oh, yeah. We don't learn anything about him.
Basically, we get a little more, like, where they kind of, we get a tiny bit more. I shouldn't say we don't learn anything, but it's like they reiterate that he's bound to this town until he does something. He just doesn't know what. He made some sort of bargain that bound him to the town until he does something that he doesn't know what. Last episode, Mrs. X said it has something to do with Abby. So throughout this episode, he just pops up in the background of scenes where Abby's at, like holding balloons, being like, I wonder how I can help her. But he never talks to her.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you say that because another thing that happens in this is they repeat a lot of the same stuff you've seen in previous episodes, like as if they don't know what to do with the characters or they don't want to go too far. Because think about the little girl. Every single time up to this episode that she shows up, Abby sits down with her and she goes, I'm thinking about Swamp Thing. He's sad and he doesn't know what's happening. And then they go away. Then they come back to her and they're like, hey, I'm thinking about Swamp Thing. He's sad. He doesn't know how to deal with his feelings. And they go away. They come back to the little girl. She's like, just drawing Swamp Thing. They're like, oh, what's his expression? He's sad. It's like, we got it. Swamp Thing's sad. Like, it's just like, and they do that with all the characters. Not quite as painful as that one, but like
it does.
You go back to the mom. She's still talking about her daughter and how she's regretting stuff. Then we go back to this guy. He's talking about his tarot cards. Then we go back to the other guy. And it's just like, guys, you just keep hitting the same beat.
What they're trying to do is they do hit the same beat every time. And all they do is they like just add a tiny bit of new information. Not something we couldn't have gleaned from what we've seen, but it's just like a tiny bit of new information, which is, obviously frustrating. All right, subplot 2. Abby gets a sample of Swamp Thing to test. She goes to analyze it. Dr. Woodrow drops by for some reason. He notices that her sample is both animal and plant. So Swamp Thing is both animal and plant. And he offers to take over her analysis because, of course, he's a biogenetics expert and she, that's not really her field of expertise. I don't know what we get out of this. Do you think do you think this is going to be he's analyzed? I just feel like this is a throwaway scene just to tell us. Yeah,
I wasn't sure if they were trying to play it that
are they teaming
not
up?
So much. Yeah, like he's not so much bad. He's like he's like an anti-hero sort of thing, and maybe what he's doing is like sort of the ends justify the means or something like that.
Like they'll team up and work together and redeem him?
Yeah, I thought they might be doing something like that.
Or was it just that they wanted to say Swamp Thing is both plant and animal. Because I could also see that scene
I sure
as just
hope
that.
that's not what they're saying. I really hope it's not just that, because what I love is they keep looking in the microscope, and this is the most magical microscope ever. It gives you all the information you need just by seeing it. And she's like putting in different cells, all this data and stuff. I'm like, you literally just look at the microscope. There's no way you can get that much information. You have to do other tests.
She's a specialist with the CDC, Jordan. She knows what she's doing.
That's true. Who has tranquilizers ready to go.
My final subplot for the episode. Beginning, Avery has a flashback showing that he also had an abusive father. I think trying to explain like how he could kill a person, the idea that his father was also abusive. Yeah. We come to learn that his father died when he was young as well. So when they go to the hospital to announce the crawdad boil, they meet that sick little girl whose dad has died, and Virginia Madison is like, oh, she's so sweet. And he's like, my dad died when I was a kid too, and that really hurt me. What if we adopt the sick girl? So what is happening is now I couldn't have seen this coming, but this sick girl's been around for so long because they were slowly seeding the idea in episode 4. The Averys are going to adopt her.
Yeah, and what they do, and I can't remember if it's the last scene in this episode, but what you find is, because her father has died, he's the one that became the horrible monster that they were doing the autopsy and
of
stuff.
Course, their daughter has been dead for a long time, so they need a new one.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. They're due for one. And the girl has her new guardian is her uncle or something like that, and he's like like everyone kind of implies he's like the town drunk. It's like a small town. They all kind of gossip. And what we see at the end is Avery is paying him off to kind of go away so they can swoop in and
he buys the child.
It's officially,
he buys the girl.
Yeah, he buys the girl. But what I like is earlier in the episode, they're just like, the girl's just there, and they're like, the uncle hasn't shown up yet. They're like, we'd like to take her home. And the police are like, yeah, that seems fine. I'm like, is it fine that these people I guess but like, there must be some sort of policy procedure to just adopting a child, other than just like, yeah, you're well-known local people. You could just take her.
See, I kind of was like only half clocking the stuff about the uncle before not being able to find him. So I was just like, oh, maybe she just has no family and that's why like she can be adopted. But like then it's just like, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can just buy like, and then like social services like, well, I guess like we can't find anybody, so you can just have her. I think they try to find those biological relatives still.
Yeah, or at the very best, they'll try to house her in a place they think is appropriate that has the proper structure and support.
It's been trained for it.
Well, yeah, not just these people who had a kid die at some point, so they're owed. You know,
you're owed. You're owed a new child.
Yeah,
I will say, Jordan, at least it's consistent. Jordan, it's the Swamp Thing promise. A child is getting sold. No matter what series you do, you're selling a child.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's the Swamp Thing promise.
If you're watching Swamp Thing, we're selling a child.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan. Final notes on these 2 episodes?
I think I have a funny thing about this show. I still think I probably like it more than you do, and I'm probably cutting it more slack than it's owed, because the scenes that are good, I quite like them. Now, probably 75% of it doesn't work as well, and it still has like clumsy dialogue and clumsy acting and stuff. But I like the Monster of the Week stuff. I wish they just pushed into it a little bit more. I mean, what I'm saying is a little more Kolchak, you know?
Yeah, that's 100%. Like the things they're facing are very Kolchak-esque. It's just the stuff around it is like, there's so little of it goes into the investigation, so little of the episode goes toward like the mystery part of it. It's all goes to the interpersonal stuff, which is just not working for me.
Like, and even if it's kind of hokey, it's like it can still be fun along the way. Like we all go be like, yeah, this is kind of silly, but we're enjoying it. But they like, it's almost like they're scared of that, being like, oh, this is kind of silly. So what people really want is the drama of like, she used to be abused and now she's back in town. I was like, I don't care about that stuff as much. I want to see Swamp Thing rip some guy's arms off.
What do you want to give He Speaks?
I would give He Speaks, I'm going to give it a 6. It's okay. Again, I think a little too much place setting and a little too much disparate plots like we've seen as we discussed it. Not the worst episode, but yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
I'm going to go 3.5. I like the corpse monster full of bugs. I like that monster fight. Like the best part of that episode, and it's midway through, is the monster fight. Like it's a cool fight. you know, it's an issue obviously with even like a Godzilla movie. Like the monster fights are cool, but like there's not really like what do you do around a monster fight? Not much.
Yeah.
So I think this show might have that issue, but the monster fight is legitimately cool. So I'm gonna go 3.5. And then what do you think of Darkness on the Edge of Town?
I liked it a little bit more. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. It's not that much better, and I think this show's gonna be, at least for me, hard to kind of reach that next level because it's kind of handcuffed with this sort of like just the weight of all these subplots. But I thought this one was a little bit more focused than the other one, so I'm going to give an extra point, so 6.5.
I think I agree. I think this episode maybe is a little bit more focused than the last one, but I'm actually going down half a point to 3 on it.
Are you?
Because I think the monster of the week wasn't as well executed. It wasn't as interesting.
I would agree with you on that.
Like it started strong and then just really kind of whimpered out by the end. And you know, I know this is has the dramatic CW elements, but it's also a horror show. So you like, I don't know, man, you can't whimper. You can't kind of waver out near the end of it. I think that's a mistake.
But remember that scene where she came up on Swamp Thing and he was just lounging in his hammock made of vines?
Yeah, he was just kicked his feet up, sandals on, having a great time. Chill, laid back Swamp Thing.
Yeah, we never do see what he's doing when he's not solving mysterious crimes, right? Because he's got to just be hanging out.
He just lays down in the swamp.
Do you think he goes back to his lab? It's not far.
Well, no one else is going there. It's just empty swamp lab. Do you think he fixed it up after the fight?
That's right. Yeah, he's got to fix the floor.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for this round of Swamp Thing. You, of course, can email us at continuumdrag@gmail.com if you know about biogenetics and how plants and animals don't mix together. Because that's impossible, we're told.
Yeah.
And, of course, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Blue Sky, we are going to have clips from this. As we said, there's some cool, like, spooky horror stuff going on. There's some good clips to pull from that. So we'll have a few clips from Swamp Thing online. The handle there is @continuumdrag. And that wraps it up. So, listener, thank you for joining us. Jordan, I'll see you on the next one.
I'll see you then.
Can't get enough Continuum Drag? Commission a bonus episode for charity.
Want us to watch an episode we missed after using the escape pod or during a best of run? No problem.
Is there an episode of a series we've never watched or a TV movie you want us to cover? You got it.
Wish we'd comment on your favorite movie, content, or other weird media? Sure, why not?
All you have to do is make a donation to one of the charities selected by past guests on our website.
We suggest a donation of $50 per television hour of content we're watching, but everyone's means are different, so give what you can.
Get all the details about bonus episodes for charity on our website, continuumdrag.podbean.com, or follow the links in our social media profiles.
Continuum Drag is recorded in Ontario, Canada, and Seoul, South Korea. Theme music by James Rick Seidler, produced by Jordan Delic and Luke Black. Special thanks to Aaron Hughes.